In Japan, the Yakuza boss Oyabun is furious after his men fail to complete a mission properly. He offers them a second chance with a job in the US, but only if they cut off one of their fingers as punishment. Joe cuts off his finger, followed by Tom. However, when the last man hesitates, Oyabun eliminates him. 3 weeks later, in Normal County, Minnesota, Sheriff Ulysses wakes up in his motel room. He leaves a voicemail for his estranged wife, Penny, even though she never answers his calls. Outside, his deputy Mike waits to give him a ride. Ulysses works as an interim sheriff, temporarily filling in whenever a town's sheriff is unavailable. He is currently on an 8-week assignment in Normal County. His motto is to leave every town exactly as he found it by the end of his tenure, but he cannot shake the feeling that something is off about this place. As they drive through town, Mike tells Ulysses that he should try Ernie's meatloaf because it is both amazing and famous around town. Ulysses nods before asking about Mike's noisy jacket. Mike explains that he bought it to match his chopper. Ulysses asks if he owns one, but Mike simply replies, "In the future."
No, I mean, it makes noise. It's literally loud. And I don't think it's regulation.
Just as Mike is about to take the jacket off, Ulysses tells him to leave it on, saying it actually looks cool. Surprised, Ulysses asks how such a small town managed to secure $16.8 million. Mike replies that the whole community came together to make it happen. Mike greets Mayor Kibner. Mike excitedly tells Ulysses that he cannot wait for next week's parade and promises he is going to love it.
Geez, Randy, I wish my girlfriend was that dirty. Have you got a girlfriend, Sheriff?
No, I've got a wife. She's had it with me.
Then I'll put an extra sugar in your coffee.
He notices a commotion at the front desk and steps in to intervene. Sally, the receptionist, tries to calm the angry man down, but he refuses to listen. Ulysses asks him to explain the problem.
Depends who the fuck you're meant to be.
Ulysses calmly replies that he is the sheriff. Sally then explains that he is the new interim sheriff since Sheriff Gunderson died the previous week. At that moment, Deputy Blaine arrives carrying donuts just as the man explains that his neighbor keeps parking a tow truck in his designated parking spot.
Look, you want me to drive out there and sort this out with Carl for you? Finally, please.
Then, Blaine jokingly asks Ulysses how the badge feels and whether he is just keeping it warm for him. Ulysses replies that he is doing his best.
Elections in 6 weeks. Remember to vote for me.
Sure.
Later, while going through paperwork, Ulysses becomes curious about Sheriff Gunderson's death. He searches for the death certificate and discovers that the official cause of death was a heart attack. He then notices a gun engraved with the words, "From Dad." After taking the bullet out, he places it into the evidence box. Minutes later, Sally finds Ulysses in the armory room. He remarks that the weapons seem unusually advanced and questions why a small town would need C4. Sally shrugs and explains that after 9/11, Sheriff Gunderson applied for every anti-terrorism grant available.
Yeah? How much did he spend on training?
I should probably get back to the phones.
Ulysses points out that the room was unlocked and reminds her to keep it locked next time. She nods. Over the next few days, Ulysses handles small-town problems, though in a more laid-back manner rather than a strict one.
Like the way you law, man.
Later, he visits Ernie, who warmly welcomes him. Ulysses asks about the guns decorating the walls. Ernie explains that his grandfather used to collect them. Jokingly, Ulysses asks if any of them are loaded.
Wouldn't be much fun if they weren't, would it? So what can I get you?
I heard good things about the meatloaf.
Sure.
Ernie then tells him he has to try the pie before he leaves town. On the TV, a news reporter warns that a massive winter storm is approaching Minnesota and advises residents to stay indoors. The next morning, Ulysses wakes from a nightmare. Hearing a loud noise outside, he goes to investigate and smiles after discovering that Moose has stolen a paint can. During the drive, Mike tells Ulysses that he still has to approve the parade route. Just then, Sally radios them and asks them to check on the local hardware store, where a fight has broken out. The store owner, Maynard, asks Mike to throw his rude customer, Clayton, out of the store. The old man argues that Maynard's products are overpriced and says Amazon sells them for 30% less. Ulysses tries to calm them down, but Mike ends up shouting at both of them to stop.
Maybe we just want to bring the temperature down a little bit in front of the temporary guest from out of town.
Okay, I'm going. Let's go.
Ulysses grins and asks Maynard how often this happens. Maynard replies that if he's lucky, only once or twice a week. Ulysses then notices a heavily locked cabinet and asks what's inside. Maynard casually replies, "Stump remover." Before Ulysses can ask more about it, an elderly woman named Mary drags him into her yarn shop. She complains that she ordered pink yarn but received mauve instead. Mike agrees, pointing out that it is definitely mauve, not pink. Ulysses apologetically says he cannot really help because he is colorblind. Mary replies that, unlike him, her customers are far more discerning, though she quickly adds that she means no offense.
Mike, come on, come on. You're still with the sheriff.
Is that a police scanner you got? You keeping tabs on me?
She grins and says she also has a CB radio because she gets lonely.
And nosy.
An hour later, they attend Gunderson's memorial service, where Mayor Kibner gives a speech about him.
So, what do you say about a man like Gunderson? He was a son of a bitch. But he was our son of a bitch. This is just like Christmas.
You want me to make you a plate?
But Ulysses jokingly declines, saying he might end up like Gunderson if he eats all these.
That reminds me.
Mike takes out the sheriff's badge. Ulysses asks how he got it, since Mike said there was only one. Mike admits that after the visitation was over, he took it off the corpse before they closed the casket. Ulysses then pours himself a drink in Gunderson's office while looking at the photo.
Oh, what a trip that was. Japanese sure love their golf.
Dr. Belay.
Ulysses, you signed Sheriff Gunderson's death certificate, right?
Sadly, yes.
Ulysses asks him what exactly happened to Gunderson.
A couple Wednesdays ago, around 3 in the morning, Deputy Blaine found him out back in little more than his tidy whities, frozen.
What do you suppose he thought he was doing?
Walter says Gunderson loved fishing, noting that he was holding a fishing rod in one hand and an auger in the other. He adds that Gunderson also loved to drink. At that moment, Mayor Kibner interrupts them, saying he needs to speak with Ulysses.
So, let me get this straight. Did I hear you saw the moose?
I did.
I am the only one in this town who has never seen that fucking moose. You know, in Native American culture, the moose is a symbol of endurance and survival.
Then, he casually asks how he's liking the town so far. Ulysses replies that it's charming. Kibner says he has heard that Ulysses is very laid back and asks if he has ever considered settling down somewhere permanently. Without waiting for an answer, he suggests that Ulysses could become the town's permanent sheriff. He tells Ulysses to take his time before answering, adding that in Normal, they value community above everything else. After Kibner leaves, Ulysses hears shouting outside. Pulling back the curtain, he sees a young woman arguing with Blaine. From outside the door, Mike casually asks if he wants some egg rolls, but Ulysses instead asks about the woman outside. Mike explains that she is Alex, the former sheriff's daughter. Later that night, after finishing dinner at Ernie's, Ulysses is about to leave when a woman stops him and asks if he wants to play pool with her. He awkwardly smiles and says his hands are a little shaky. She tells him to at least keep her company. She introduces herself as Moira, the bartender. Ulysses asks if she knew Gunderson well. Moira says yes and admits it's sad that he died. She adds that Gunderson loved drinking and fishing, so in a way, he died doing what he loved most. She then asks if Ulysses fishes. He says he used to when he was younger, but not anymore, before asking her the same question.
Hey, fuck no. Probably the only one in town who don't. But in the end, death comes for us all, don't it, lawman?
I'm not getting a sheriff out of you, huh?
If you really were, you would, but are you? Why are you here? Stop fucking around, come on.
After a pause, Ulysses opens up about his past. He reveals that he once served as a regular sheriff in a quiet county much like this one. He had married his high school sweetheart, and life was going well for him. One day, a young girl came to him claiming her father was abusing her. Because Ulysses knew the man personally, he didn't believe her. A few days later, he responded to a domestic disturbance after reports of gunfire. There, he found the girl having already shot and killed her father. She cursed him for not believing her and then turned the gun toward him. They both opened fire, and Ulysses managed to get the better aim and shot her first. After that, Ulysses says he got dark inside and didn't know who he was anymore and still doesn't. Moira asks about his wife. Ulysses admits he was hard to be around and that they eventually drifted apart. He says he still calls her, but she doesn't answer. The next morning, he receives a voicemail from Mayor Kibner asking if he has considered taking the sheriff position. Ulysses offers to help her and asks if she's new in town, and she replies that she's only visiting. He then asks about her dog's name.
Her name's Olive.
My name's Ulysses.
I'm Lori. You know, I wish these things had dog food.
Ulysses smiles and says maybe someday, before warning her to watch out for moose. Confused, Lori just looks at him. At the station, Mike brings Ulysses his coffee and jokes that they have the same mustache, making them look like brothers.
Or at least a couple uncles.
That night, while driving back to his motel, Ulysses notices a van parked by the side of the road. He realizes it's Alex. He asks if she's been drinking. Alex replies, "Not while driving."
You mind if I join you?
Before she can say anything else, Ulysses slips into the seat beside her. He comments that she has a cool belt.
I'm Alex.
I'm Ulysses.
Then, he tells her he saw her pictures in her father's office and says she has his eyes.
Yeah, those are old pictures. He's very proud of me. Daddy's little girl going military. Couldn't keep that up.
Ulysses then asks why she was arguing with Deputy Blaine outside the memorial service. She sadly admits that before Kibner arrived, the town knew right from wrong. She tried to convince her father of that, but he was torn between her and the town. In the end, she forced him to choose, and it led to his death.
I don't know what to do.
He calmly tells her he knows exactly where to start and gestures for her to hand over the gun.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, it's my one trick.
He asks her if she has anywhere to stay. When she stays silent, he tells her he has a place she can crash, insisting it's the safest place in town. The next morning, he brings her breakfast and, finding her still asleep, quietly leaves it on the stand attached to the cell. Later, Mike goes over the possible parade routes. Suddenly, sirens echo through the station, immediately putting everyone on edge, while Ulysses remains confused, unsure why they're scared. At the local bank, Lori and her boyfriend Keith hold the employees and customers at gunpoint. Lori orders the cashier to fill a bag with money, but she's shocked to see there's only $2,000 inside. The cashier explains that people barely use cash anymore. Keith then orders the bank manager, Terry, to take them to the vault. Lori warns him they won't have enough time before the police arrive. Just then, one of the customers suffers a heart attack. Keith panics while Lori quickly grabs the pills bottle and helps him swallow it. As Lori returns to watching the hostages, Keith nervously realizes the man still isn't breathing. Lori tells him to start chest compressions immediately. Joe, one of the Yakuza's men, alerts Oyabun. He then attacks Keith. Lori quickly fires at him but misses, grazing Keith's neck instead. She takes another shot, wounding Joe and causing him to accidentally shoot his companion. Lori apologizes for hitting him, but Keith brushes it off, saying it's just a nick and that the stab wound hurts far worse. Ulysses gets out of his car, and Blaine immediately tells him to let him and Mike handle things. Inside the bank, Lori notices him. Terry quietly asks if she wants him to answer the call from the police, but she says nothing. Ulysses spots Olive inside a car and immediately understands Lori is involved. He tells the deputies he's going in. Blaine warns him to wait for backup, but Ulysses argues that if they handle this wrong, it could turn into a massacre. Blaine then informs Mayor Kibner about the situation, and the mayor coldly orders him to eliminate Ulysses. Mike asks what the mayor said.
You know what he said. Y'all agreed to the same damn thing.
Ulysses slowly approaches the door. Blaine opens fire on him but misses. Shocked, Lori shouts, asking why they are shooting at him. Ulysses immediately fires back. He tells everyone inside the bank to get down. Ulysses then asks Lori and Keith if they are in on this. Lori quickly says no. Just then, he notices Terry moving. Ulysses points his weapon at him and demands to know what's going on. Terry angrily blames Lori and Keith, saying none of this would have happened if they had just taken the cash, instead of asking for access to the vault. Ulysses orders Terry to take them to the vault. Inside, they discover stacks of cash along with gold bars. Terry suddenly slips away, and Ulysses chases after him, telling him to calm down. As Terry tries to grab his gun to shoot at Ulysses, he accidentally slips and shoots himself. Meanwhile, Mike moves to secure the back door. Hearing the familiar rustle of his jacket outside, Ulysses asks if it's him. Mike replies, "No, boss." Confused, Lori asks what is happening.
Heck if I know. It's Lori, right?
Yeah, this is Keith.
That's Ulysses.
I don't know what the hell this is, but they shot at me and you didn't. So the way I see it, this fucked up little trio of ours, we're a team.
Just then, the phone rings. Before answering it, Ulysses tells Lori and Keith to check the crates nearby for weapons. When he picks up the phone, Mayor Kibner's voice comes through. Suddenly, the signal cuts out. Thinking Ulysses hung up, Kibner orders the officers to draw their guns, only to realize the connection dropped. He quickly tells them to stand down. Kibner casually admits that he ordered Deputy Blaine to kill Ulysses, but says the request was apparently too much for him.
What are you, blind? Sorry, snow got into my eye, so I had to close it and...
Ulysses calmly says he saw what was hidden inside the vault and asks whether Blaine, or the entire department, is involved. Kibner smugly replies that it's not just the department, but the whole town. He says Ulysses now has the entire population of 1,800 people against him.
What's it all about, Mayor?
He explains that the town of Normal was once plundered by banks and large corporations, leaving it to die. Then, the Yakuza approached them with an offer. Since they made enormous profits in America and couldn't send all the money back home, they needed somewhere to hide part of it. In exchange for holding their illicit profits, the town would receive a percentage. They accepted the deal, and ever since then, the town has been prospering.
And the whole town sold its soul.
Kibner admits that not everyone agreed with the arrangement, but coldly says he took care of those people. Ulysses dryly remarks that this means he can never leave the town alive. Kibner tells him he can, but only if he kills the two robbers who started this mess, saying the blood on his hands would be insurance enough. Ulysses hangs up the call. The power suddenly cuts out as the storm closes in. Moments later, a powerful bullet tears through Mayor Kibner.
That's not where I was aiming.
Ulysses immediately opens fire on the officers using an assault rifle, giving the trio enough time to escape. Joe asks Blaine where they went. Blaine replies that they're heading toward Main Street and asks if he managed to contact Oyabun. Joe silently shakes his head. After Joe fails to answer his calls, Oyabun orders his jet to be prepared. Meanwhile, Ulysses tells Lori and Keith to get inside while he holds off the officer. The two rush into a yarn shop, where Lori sarcastically comments that this town is anything but normal. Ulysses checks on Keith's condition. Just then, Mary approaches them and asks if they're all right. Ulysses tells her to bring a first aid kit and asks where the CB radio is.
Hey, Knit and Needle, if you see the sheriff, you stop him. He knows.
Mary starts shooting at him. Ulysses tells her to calm down while Lori opens fire. He motions for Lori to cover him as he tries pushing the shelf onto Mary. Lori eventually runs out of bullets, but with Ulysses' help, she finally manages to kill her. Not far away, the officers regroup inside an ice cream shop. Blaine asks Kenny, the owner, to bring a first aid kit. Kenny asks what happened, and Mike explains that the robbers teamed up with the sheriff after discovering Yakuza gold and cash hidden in the vault. Mike then opened the icebox and slides the panel aside, revealing a hidden stash of guns and ammunition. Mark adds that they also blew up the mayor.
He's coming to kill us all.
Look, the way I figure it, with the power down, they can't get the word out. And with the storm being what it is, they're stuck here with us. And you know, better to be the hunter than the hunted.
Back with Ulysses, Lori points out that it's basically the three of them against an entire whack town.
Well, usually when you rob a bank, there are consequences. Although this is a new one.
She admits they only wanted to start a new life together and never expected any of this chaos. Ulysses thinks for a moment, then says they need to get to the police station, where there's a snowplow. Keith offers to drive it. Suddenly, one of the townspeople opens fire, forcing Ulysses to crash through the hardware store window. He tells Lori and Keith to head for the station, saying he'll meet them there. Maynard drags him inside the store. He attacks him. Despite skillfully dodging several swings, Ulysses is eventually overpowered. Beaten and exhausted, he asks what is wrong with the people in this town. Maynard reveals that they looked him up and chose him specifically because of his reputation for not giving a shit. Ulysses ultimately kills him. Afterward, he opens the locked cabinet and discovers dynamite and road flares. Outside, Lori and Keith keep running as the resident continues shooting at them. While he reloads his gun, Keith reveals a gold bar he secretly stole earlier and strikes the attacker with it as Lori struggles to grab the gun. The attacker knocks him to the ground. Keith desperately grabs the gun and tries to fire, only to realize it's empty. The two continue running as Blaine and other officers spot them. From a distance, Ulysses throws road flares toward the officers, causing massive explosions. Mike grabs one and tries to snuff it out, but it detonates and blasts him backward. At the police station, Sally notices the robbers and slowly approaches them with a shotgun. Just as she's about to pull the trigger, Ulysses arrives in time to stop her. Before Ulysses can help her, a car suddenly falls onto her. He opens the door and asks Keith if he can drive the truck. Keith nods. Ulysses tells the couple to head to a hospital. Surprised, Lori asks if he's not coming with them. Ulysses shakes his head, saying he's tired of running from everything. He tells them to consider this their second chance.
You take that gold brick, and go build something good out of it.
Meanwhile, Blaine wonders where they could have possibly gone since the town is so small. Then they spot the snowplow truck. Dr. Walter confidently says that Ulysses is not the type to run away.
Well, where is he gonna hide?
Police station.
The couple picks up Olive and finally leaves the town behind. At the station, Ulysses prepares himself with guns and ammunition. Just as he is about to head toward the entrance, Moira suddenly shoots him in the vest. Struggling to breathe, Ulysses jokingly asks if she has a drink on her.
What kind of bartender would I be if I didn't? A stray.
He bitterly asks if she also sold her soul. She calmly replies that she did what she had to do to survive, then points out that he sold his soul too.
Although they're cheap nowadays, hell, you sold yours, didn't you?
I didn't sell mine. I lost it. How did you know?
Bartenders hear a lot of bullshit. Your story was true right until the end, am I right?
The girl didn't kill her dad.
You did.
Ulysses nods, admitting he wanted to deliver justice. Ever since that day, he says, he has avoided making any real choices. He then asks what really happened to Gunderson. Moira confesses that she killed him because he wanted out of the arrangement and missed his daughter. Ulysses guesses she got him drunk, let him outside, and watched him freeze to death. She confirms it.
Watched him freeze to death. Which takes longer than you think. Unless you're wet, which he was because I poured water on him.
Like I said, that's a cool belt.
What kind of bartender would I be?
What the fuck, Sheriff?
He then hands her the gun, saying her father would have wanted her to have it.
Let's go, deputy.
Moments later, Alex drives the truck out of the station lot, running over Walter in the process before driving straight into the bank. Ulysses radios Blaine, saying that his deputy is currently planting bombs inside the bank vault, and warning that if anything happens to him, the entire bank will explode, bringing the Yakuza down on all of them. As an alternative, he proposes a deal: clean up the bank and make the whole incident look like an accident. Blaine asks if that's really his plan.
Basically, yeah. The Yakuza show up, their treasure is untouched. Yeah, nothing more than a car accident that set off the alarm. Life in normal is normal.
Joe angrily questions why they shouldn't just kill him on the spot. Ulysses calmly replies that the only thing Joe's boss will care about is the fact that he messed up. He then apologizes for killing their mayor before adding that he was an asshole anyway.
Hey, Alex.
Let's put on a show.
I'm kind of liking Deputy.
Ulysses instructs the townspeople to search for any body parts and cover up the bloodstains so the town looks normal again. Blaine quietly admits that he never knew they murdered Gunderson.
Believe that bullshit about the fishing rod?
Sorry, I'm not much of a fisherman, but yeah, I get your point.
And you tried to shoot me.
Yeah, I did shoot you, but I didn't kill you. We're here together, both of us. Do you really think this is gonna work?
You a betting man? I'd put a Benji on the lay.
You're betting against us?
The Yakuza arrive. Blaine greets Oyabun, who immediately begins speaking Japanese.
Can you translate?
Blaine explains that the storm knocked out the power grid and cell towers. He then points to Ulysses, introducing him as the new sheriff who knows nothing about the Yakuza. Blaine then introduces Oyabun to Ulysses as a pastor who runs a small parish nearby and claims he simply wants to check on some important documents stored in the bank vault. To buy more time, they intentionally take the longest route possible while the townspeople hurriedly repair the damage around the bank.
The driver was killed on impact, as was the bank manager and the security guard.
Confused, Ulysses asks why Blaine invited the Yakuza out for dinner.
I only know like 4 phrases in Japanese, and I guess I panicked.
He then asks the translator if his boss is enjoying the meatloaf. Oyabun replies that it is divine. Surprised by how fluent he sounds, Ulysses comments that his English is pretty good. Oyabun simply replies that he watches Friends. Blaine then raises a toast.
I'd like to propose a toast. You know, I'm what you might call a people person. So this toast is to friendship. I think it's important that I take credit for this event when I become the next sheriff of Normal.
As Ernie opens a bottle of wine, the cork accidentally triggers the shotgun on the wall, instantly killing Oyabun. Chaos erupts as the Yakuza men immediately open fire on the officers. A brutal shootout breaks out across the room while Ulysses struggles with Joe, trying to wrestle the gun away from him. Outside, Alex effortlessly takes down several of the gunmen. In the end, Ulysses finally manages to kill Joe. By the time the fighting ends, only Blaine and Alex are left alive outside.
You want to be sheriff now?
Yeah.
Here's that 100 on the lay.
Ulysses leaves a voicemail for Penny, saying he is now in Texas filling in for a sheriff on maternity leave. He also mentions that he picked up an interim deputy along the way. Before ending the message, he admits that, all things considered, he is finally in a better place.
As for the town of Normal, well, I left it as I found it, you could say. Thanks for listening, Penny.
Hi, Ulysses.